You can build a life with more money, more time, and more freedom, but to do that, you often need to remove far more than you add. When I started changing my life, I thought the solution was to do more, earn more, and push harder. But later, I learned that the most powerful progress comes from taking things away. We live surrounded by noise, clutter, expectations, and obligations that slowly drain us without us noticing. I was living that way for years, thinking it was normal to carry so much weight. Then minimalism entered my life, not as a trend, but as a survival tool, a way to clear the ground so I could finally breathe. My name is Alex, and today I want to share with you 24 minimalist rules that helped me build a life with less stress and more financial freedom. These rules are simple, but applying them takes courage, and the moment you start, everything begins to change. I will speak to you the same way I speak to myself every morning, as a reminder that the real transformations happens through small, consistent actions. If you follow these rules, you will understand what I discovered. Living with less is not losing anything. Sorba, it is gaining everything that truly matters, and you will really understand this in Rule 19. So leave a like and let's start. Rule 1, start with the basics. Before you try to improve your finances or redesign your entire lifestyle, you must clear what is already in your way. When I first looked at my life honestly, I saw how many unnecessary things and habits were stealing my energy day after day. Starting with the basics means asking yourself what is essential for your well-being, growth, and stability, and what is only noise pretending to be important. Most people skip this step because it feels uncomfortable to face the truth, but without clearing the foundation, nothing solid stands. So I began removing the obvious things first: unused subscriptions, items collecting dust, commitments that felt heavy, and routines that added nothing. The more I removed, the more space I created for money, clarity, and peace. This is why minimalism always starts the same way. Not by adding, but by subtracting. Rule 2, control your mornings. I realized very quickly that if I didn't take control of the first hour of my day, the world would take it for me. Notifications, messages, problems, expectations, all arriving before I even had a moment to think. Controlling your mornings means protecting them as your most valuable daily resource. For me, it began with waking up calmly without reaching for my phone and giving myself time to breathe, think, and plan. I kept the routine simple, like a bit of movement, a bit of reading, and a moment to outline my priorities. When you begin your day with intention, the rest of the day follows a different path. You move with direction instead of reaction. You spend more time building and less time putting out fires. Your mornings become your anchor. Rule 3, embrace routine. For years, I fought routine because I believed it was restrictive, but later I discovered that routine is a form of freedom. When your essential actions are part of your daily rhythm, you no longer rely on motivation, which comes and goes like the wind. Routine is not about packing your day with tasks. It is about creating simple, powerful habits that carry you even on days when you feel tired or uncertain. My routine is intentionally minimal: a short morning ritual, focused working blocks, and daily financial check-ins. With routine, you reduce decision fatigue, free mental space, and create stability. Over time, the results compound in ways you cannot imagine at the beginning. Rule 4, keep your home simple. Your environment shapes your mind, your mood, and your decisions. When I lived in a cluttered space, I didn't understand how much it affected my energy. I thought I was just messy, but the truth is that I was overwhelmed. A simple home does not mean empty rooms. It means keeping only what serves you, removing visual noise, and creating an environment where your mind can rest. I donated clothes I never wore, removed duplicate tools, and organized everything I decided to keep. The change was immediate. I felt lighter, calmer, and more focused. A simple home leads to a clearer mind, and a clearer mind makes better decisions, especially financial ones. Rule 5, reduce empty social commitments. Right, for a long time, I accepted every invitation because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. But saying yes to everything is one of the fastest ways to drain your resources. Empty social commitments take your time, your attention, and often your money without giving anything meaningful back. When I began filtering my commitments, I realized how much time I had been giving away to things that added no value to my life. Now I ask myself a simple question. Will this make my life better? If the answer is no, I say no politely. Quality interactions are far more important than quantity. Minimalism teaches you that presence is precious and you should invest it wisely, especially for what we will see in Rule 14. Rule 6, create a functional wardrobe. I used to spend time every morning trying to decide what to wear, thinking more choices meant more freedom. But too many choices only create stress. A functional wardrobe is made of clothes you actually wear that suit your lifestyle, match each other, and last long. I kept a small number of high-quality essentials and removed everything else. Like suddenly, dressing became effortless. I saved time, I saved energy, and I stopped buying random clothes just because they were on sale. When you simplify your wardrobe, you simplify your life. Rule 7, limit information intake. We live in an age where information never stops, and most of it is noise. I used to consume random videos, news, opinions, and trends without thinking, and it made my mind restless. Limiting information intake means choosing what deserves your attention instead of letting everything flood your brain. I picked a few trusted sources and ignored the rest. I stopped reading dramatic news that did nothing but increase anxiety. I replaced passive scrolling with intentional reading. The result was powerful. More focus, more clarity, and more peace. A minimalist mind is not empty. It is selectively full. Rule 8, plan purchases in advance. Before becoming minimalist, I bought things impulsively because they made me feel good for a moment. But every impulse purchase is a little leak in your financial ship. Planning purchases means writing down what you want, thinking about whether it truly solves a problem, comparing options, and giving yourself time before buying. This single habit saved me more money than any budgeting app ever could. Most desires fade when you give them time, and if they don't fade, at least you know the purchase is intentional, not emotional. Minimalists buy slowly, wisely, and with purpose. Rule 9, use a waiting list for desires. Like every time something caught my attention, a new gadget, a new jacket, a new piece of furniture, I added it to a simple list. Then I waited at least 30 days before taking any action. At first it felt restrictive, but soon I realized how many of my desires were temporary illusions created by moods or advertising. After the waiting period, 80% of the items on my list no longer mattered. This rule helps you separate temporary wants from long-term needs, and it strengthens discipline. It also protects your wallet from emotional spending. Rule 10, set annual priorities. Without clear direction, your energy spreads too thin and your results become scattered. I used to chase too many goals at once and ended up accomplishing none. Now, every January, I choose no more than 3 major priorities. These priorities become my compass. Everything else becomes optional. This rule simplifies decision-making because you always know whether something moves you toward your goals or away from them. Minimalism is really about focus, doing less, but doing it better. Rule 11, create energy reserves. Money is not your only resource. Your energy is just as important, if not more. When you're constantly tired, even simple decisions become difficult. Minimalism taught me to build energy reserves by sleeping well, eating simply, resting intentionally, and avoiding unnecessary stress. I stopped glorifying overwork and started valuing balance. When your energy is strong, you make better choices, stay consistent, and move through life with clarity. Your finances will also reflect your renewed strength. Rule 12, master your calendar. For a long time, I let my days unfold randomly, reacting to everything that appeared, but what is not scheduled usually does not happen. Mastering your calendar means planning your days with intention, blocking time for deep work, rest, and personal growth, and protecting that time from interruptions. Minimalism Taught me that time is more valuable than money because once it's gone, you cannot earn it back. So now I treat my calendar like a budget, organized, intentional, and aligned with my priorities. Rule 13, eliminate toxic debts. Debt is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry. Toxic debt, like high interest credit cards or unnecessary loans, steals your future before you even reach it. When I decided to eliminate my debt, I treated it like an emergency. I cut expenses, increased my income, and used a focused strategy to pay it down. The day I cleared it, I felt a freedom I had not felt in years. Minimalism and debt cannot coexist. If you want financial peace, removing toxic debt must be a priority. Rule 14, simplify your finances. I used to have multiple accounts, cards, apps, and scattered investments. This only created confusion, so I simplified everything. I kept one main account, one savings account, one investment platform, and automated as much as possible. This clarity gave me control. I could see exactly where my money was going and where it needed to go. Financial simplicity is not about doing less. It is about removing friction so your money works smoothly and efficiently. Rule 15, invest in quality, not quantity. Buying cheap things might feel economical, but over time, it is incredibly expensive. Cheap items break, wear out, and need constant replacement. When I shifted to buying fewer but higher quality things, I spent less overall. Minimalism is not about deprivation, it is about choosing wisely. Quality lasts longer, performs better, and saves money in the long run. This applies to clothes, tools, furniture, and even relationships. Choose quality and your life becomes more stable. Rule 16, practice emotional detachment. I used to keep objects because they held memories or sentimental value, but eventually I realized that memories live in me, not in my belongings. Emotional detachment does not mean being cold. It means understanding that holding on to unnecessary things creates emotional weight. I learned to let go with gratitude. Every item I released created more mental space. Emotional detachment strengthens your ability to move forward without being anchored to the past. Rule 17, reduce technological dependency. I use technology as entertainment, distraction, and escape, but too much screen time drains your focus and shortens your attention span. So I set simple rules. No phone in the first hour of the day, no notifications except essential ones, and scheduled times for social media. These limits gave me back my concentration. Technology should serve you, not control you. Minimalism teaches you to use tools intentionally, not habitually. Rule 18, rest with purpose. Rest is not laziness, it is maintenance. I used to rest by scrolling endlessly or watching random videos, but that only tired me more. Rest with purpose means choosing activities that genuinely restore you. Silence, nature, stretching, reading, or simply doing nothing for a few minutes. When you rest with intention, your productivity improves, your mind clears, and your decisions become wiser. A minimalist life includes rest as an essential component. Rule 19, maintain high-value relationships. Minimalism applies to people too. Not everyone deserves access to your time and energy. I learned to distance myself from people who brought negativity or constant drama. Instead, I focused on relationships that offered mutual respect, support, and growth. You do not need many friends to live well. You need the right ones. High-value relationships nourish your mind and help you stay aligned with your goals. Rule 20, review your life every 6 months. Excess always tries to creep back in. So every 6 months, I review everything. My habits, my finances, my routines, my workspace, and even my relationships. I check what is serving me and what is slowing me down. This periodic reset prevents chaos from returning. It keeps your life fresh, aligned, and intentional. Minimalism is not a one-time purge. It is an ongoing practice of choosing what matters. Rule 21, protect your focus like a treasure. Focus is one of the most valuable skills in a distracted world. I stopped multitasking and started working in deep, uninterrupted blocks. I turned off notifications, cleared my desk, and gave my full attention to one task at a time. This improved not only my productivity, but also the quality of my work. Focus expands your time. It is not about doing more, but doing what matters with clarity. Rule 22, spend according to values, not moods. Most financial mistakes come from emotional purchases driven by boredom, stress, or insecurity. When I learned to spend according to my values, everything changed. My money began flowing to things that actually made my life better: education, health, tools that solved real problems, and a small number of high-quality experiences. When your spending aligns with your values, you save money without even trying. Rule 23, track the small leaks. It is rarely the big expenses that destroy your finances. It is the small, repeated leaks. Snacks, subscriptions, random fees, impulsive buys. I began tracking these micro expenses and found they added up to shocking amounts. So I removed them. Tracking small leaks does not require complicated budgeting. It requires awareness. Once you see where your money goes, you can redirect it toward your goals. Rule 24, live with intention every day. Minimalism is not about owning less. It is about living more intentionally. When you move through life with awareness, your decisions become cleaner, your money lasts longer, and your days feel lighter. Intention transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for growth. I remind myself each morning to act with purpose. This simple habit keeps me aligned with the life I am building. And now that we have reached the end of these 24 rules, I want to leave you with something simple. Living with less is not a sacrifice. It is a strategy, a way to protect your time, your money, and your peace. Minimalism is not about deprivation. It is about choosing what matters and letting everything else fall away. If you apply even a few of these rules, your life will begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more meaningful. This is the life I chose, and it is the life you can choose too. If this helped you, let me know with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purposes only, and any results depends on your decision and actions.